How about this Trevor Lawrence deal really throwing quite a...
What do you mean?
Just like $275 million, maybe. We don't know what's real and what isn't real. That was the first number that was thrown out, so we'll just go off of that one, okay? Because we don't know if that's the actual contract or not, but that's what was reported by journalists, and journalists obviously get everything right. Never seen one get anything wrong. So that now becomes the standard for, everybody that's looking for a contract, because you can't really hold over the head the amount of success that the person's had, because although we did see Trevor Lawrence come into his best form, he get hurt, he run for his life, not play as good, but we have seen a very successful Trevor Lawrence with the addition of Doug Peterson and other pieces, even though you lose Calvin Ridley, but they still have played much better. But for him to have one playoff win and to get $275 million, now, like, anybody has a case. And when it comes to negotiating at the quarterback position, if you've had any success at all, and it's like Tua Tagovailoa, obviously, had one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL and into history of the NFL there for a little bit. He's up. What's he going to make, with this conversation that's taking place, especially with McDaniel's offense that's almost impossible to learn, allegedly, from a quarterback position. Dak Prescott, what's he going to make if he hits the open market or an extension with the Dallas Cowboys? That's going to be massive. How about Jordan Love? Jordan Love is the only guy that's really won one in the playoffs, but he hasn't played nearly as much as everybody else that has played, and it's like he should ask for...
Brock Purdy is going to get, obviously we knew that.
Brock Purdy's going to get
the most.
These quarterback deals, this is just
Tua's going to ask for more. Don't you think Tua's going to ask for more than Trevor Lawrence?
Yes.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love's
that's what I'm
agent is
saying.
David Mulugeta. Like, he is going to get more. Like, there's no two ways about it. He was second in the NFL in touchdown passes last year, got a playoff win. He's doing it with a bunch of dudes who had never played receiver before. Like, he might make $70 million a year.
Legit.
Yeah.
And Packers fans.
And I hope he gets 100.
Yeah, exactly. Packers fans have to kind of hope for that.
Well, you mentioned Dak. I think if Dak gets the Trevor Lawrence deal, people are just as mad because I think they view him as someone who's never won shit either.
Yeah, but if Dak gets that deal, I think Dak and the Cowboys can say this is what the going rate is.
Oh, for sure.
He actually took a pay cut, is what they'll say.
Yeah, that's what,
because of the success that he's had versus like Trevor Lawrence and all.
Well, and that's what he should say. And Trevor will probably say the same thing. Like, hey, if I don't take this deal, aren't I fucking Jordan Love and Tua and those guys?
That's the NFLPA's angle.
That's their whole thing. Yeah. So like he kind of like it's not as if Trevor Lawrence was going to tell him like, no,
less
you,
money.
You hold on to that money. I don't want
who
275.
did for a long time?
Who's that?
Tom Brady.
Fucking right.
For a long time.
Fucking right.
He did.
Helped the dynasty a lot.
And everybody said, well, his wife at the time, she makes $100 million a year too. So
who cares?
Yeah. He doesn't
he doesn't need to make money.
Yeah, that's at verbatim. He doesn't need the money. Come on.
Yeah, now Travis Kelce obviously just signed 2 years.
Yeah.
And his significant other right now is
she's doing pretty well.
A billionaire.
Yeah.
Those salary caps them are like stunning, by the way. Like in the middle of that Patriots era. Yeah, I would have just assumed as a casual then that like the money would be much higher than it was.
Yeah, and you go back to the 90s.
Oh my God, it's nuts.
Those dudes got to be so pissed.
Yeah.
Livid. So fucking mad. They got to be so mad. And some of them are outwardly mad, but all of them are inwardly mad for sure. Like, oh yeah, lucky that we laid the groundwork for this league that you guys get to play in, and I made $7 million over 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was a millionaire, so I was fucking pumped. I'm better than all of you, and you're making $7 million a day for the next 20 years somehow. They got to be so pissed. But thanks to them for doing what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Get our league where they
I just listened to the GM Shuffle, and Phil Simms was on there, and he was like, I never used to care. And then he was like, now I got to admit, I'm pretty fucking jealous of what these guys are making. He's like, after Super Bowl MVP, he's like, I was okay, but geez, these guys are making $55-60 million a year.
How about it? All these old guys are like, I got one more year.
Yeah.
Come on, I got one more in me.
I got one more. That's why, like, retiring as a quarterback that's kind of in shape, that's going to be a really tough thing to do. Like, we always chat about, I don't know if we always chat about it, but it does come up often, seemingly now, at this stage of his career. But it's like Aaron Rodgers, 20 years into this thing. He was at 100% of the voluntary workout.
Yep.
100% of the voluntary workout, seemingly all the way bought in. It's like people have been talking about him maybe retiring. I think he has contemplated retirement. He even said that whenever he went into his darkness retreat last year and everything. It's like, how hard is it going to be to retire whenever they're offering $60 million a year? And whenever he becomes just like a mercenary almost, it's like, hey, 2-year deal, 1-year deal, 2-year deal. If he wants to get to that point, because he's going to remain healthy, he has said on the record, I'll always be able to spin it. Let's not, let's not make this out to be anything other than that. It's going to get really difficult to retire at the quarterback position if you have had success and still have any ability at all. And I think that's just how the NFL is going to be. And it's great for those guys, legitimately great for those guys. But like this Trevor Lawrence deal and a Kirk Cousins deal and like these deals we're about to see all help build that up for Aaron and many others we're going to see over the next 10, 15 years, AJ.
Yeah, but is there going to be a team that tries to not do this and tries to, hey, yeah, we have a guy, say he's like a Trevor Lawrence type, and they're not going to pay him. They're going to let him get to free agency, or they're going to say, hey, we're not going to get on this train and pay these guys so much money and continue what we have going on. It's hard to do it because if you lose your quarterback,
Tampa,
you're screwed.
Cleveland did it with Baker, right? And then Tampa did it with Jameis.
That's kind of what just happened with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're like, hey,
Kirk got a monster deal from Atlanta.
He did, but they were like, hey, we're going to have to, KOC like wanted him to stay, but he was going to eat up so much of the cap, and they had to re-sign Justin Jefferson, so we
can't do it.
Yeah, we can.
It rarely happens. So Jameis was coming off like a 5,000-yard season, but threw 30 picks, 30 touchdowns.
Most touchdowns, most picks, same year. Nobody's ever done it before.
The
guy was playing for his team and the other team at the same time.
Needed
every
LASIK,
game.
too.
Couldn't see anything somehow.
Last pass was a pick six.
Completed balls to so many different players, both on his team and the other team. Couldn't see any of it. That is phenomenal. The more we think about it, the more wild it is.
Catchable ball.
Think about how good Jameis was without being able to see a fucking thing.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And then
I'd be as confident as he was too. Like, you guys see,
everybody's the same color.
every jersey's the exact. Think about Jameis, what a weapon. But Baker still back up. I think he's with Cleveland, right? Yep. But Baker wins a playoff game there and then gets shipped out.
Yeah, what happened? What was that? Like the whole.
We know.
I guess people were getting mad. If people were getting mad because he had so many national commercials and all that too, and he wasn't. You're not winning Super Bowls and doing that. Obviously, you're wasting your time.
Stefanski didn't like him. Okay, that's the bottom line. And that's just the reality of the situation.
I wonder why. I wonder what it was.
He wheeled him out with a bad shoulder and made him throw it 60 times a game
against the
Steelers. And then they had a healthy Nick Chubb, and they were like, we could use this guy to help Baker, or we could give him one carry every other drive and make Baker throw it 80 times. And then when we ship him out of town, no one will give a fuck.
And don't look now.
Yeah.
But you go to Denver last year, you think to yourself, Sean Payton using all his best plays?
How Stefanski won Coach of the Year twice?